On this episode of Gas Station Cappuccino, Danny, that's me, does a solo show and gives you a key lesson here. Don't take the lazy way out, figure it out. Talk about the Arnold Classic and the whole shit show involved with that. All right, check it out. Give it a listen. Here we go. What is up? This is Gas Station Cappuccino, episode 83. I am Danny Lear. Dean is not here, so you're going to get a solo show from me. So that could be either good news, I suppose, or bad news. That's up to you. So Corey G, my buddy from Corey G Fitness, Max Effort Muscle, he has a podcast called Business and Biceps. And I kind of like it. Sometimes he says, hey, if you don't like it, or he says, if it's shit, turn it off. But if you find value, then share it out. And I think there's something to that. So if you like these solo shows or you like what Dean and I do and we're both on there together, share it. Tell people. If you don't like it, don't listen. That's okay. I do appreciate the feedback, though. In fact, I'm in Columbus, Ohio for the Arnold, or what the Arnold is this year. And I've had a few people come up to me and kind of talking about the podcast and things they like about it. And that's why I appreciate that. If you have any feedback, good or bad, shoot an email over to podcast@caffeineandkilos.com. And if you like it, I'd really appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe and then leave a review on iTunes. That'd be dope. So what's going on today is I'm in Columbus, Ohio for the Arnold Classic. And something happened, or a few things happened, I should say. And I learned a little bit kind of about myself, about our company. And I think it's something that can help a lot of people and kind of where people get caught up. So a lot of things kind of went wrong or had a possibility of going wrong. Due to the coronavirus scare, the Arnold Classic, it's kind of a mess. So normally there's a giant expo, and then there are 110 sports that take place over this weekend. And so something like 250,000, I've heard, or some people say 1 million people come to Columbus just for this weekend, somewhere in those numbers. And apparently it brings the city something like $50 million in impact. So that's a big deal. But because of the coronavirus, they essentially canceled it. On Tuesday at about, I think it was like 4 p.m. So that'd be like 7 p.m. Eastern time zone where they are. Their press conference with the governor of Ohio, where he announced that he was going to suspend it, whatever, so that the Arnold Classic would not be taking place to try to curb the spread of coronavirus. At this point, there are no cases in Ohio, but I guess he's trying to keep it that way. But some people have been training for this for a long time. So the sports will go on, but there's no spectators. So then I'm in a situation because I'm going to leave to go to the airport in like 5 hours when this comes out. So I have a Lyft scheduled to pick me up, take me to the airport. I've already checked in for my flights. I have a hotel booked. I have flights paid coming home. I have a few people that are going to help out at the booth that are booked to be here, to live local and all that. And I am supposed to be coaching a weightlifting seminar. So I've got all this going on while in Ohio, all this going on. And now I don't know if we're going to go or not. So the question is, do I still go? And your question is probably how the hell does this relate to you? So I'm going to get to that shortly. Stay with me. So they say, okay, well, will vendors be allowed? Well, they say, yeah. And then they say a couple hours later, they say, no vendors allowed. Well, I'm supposed to leave to go to the airport in a couple hours. So, all right, cancel my hotel, cancel my return flight, which with the fees and everything, it was basically, I should have just kept it. But I bought the insurance, the travel insurance. So I thought, okay, I'll cancel the flight and apply for that. And cancel my Lyft, all this. And then 2 hours before it's time for me to leave, so I'd come to terms with not going. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to go. It'll be kind of nice to be home because I don't have anything planned because I thought I was going to be gone. And then 2 hours before I need to leave to go to the airport, another announcement: vendors will be allowed. So now we've got ourselves in a little predicament. Because is it worth going? And that's the question. Is it worth going? Now, there were supposed to be 1,100 lifters in the weightlifting meet. Well, that's a lot of people. But if there's no spectators, and they said the lifters, it kind of said lift and then get out of there. No loitering, or whatever that means, however they enforce that. Man, and at this point, I'd kind of already, mentally got over it, planned on staying home. I was kind of looking forward to that. At first, I was very upset, but I had already gone through the 7 stages of grief, and I had moved on to just acceptance, and I was looking forward to staying home. But now with this news, I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to go, because if spectators aren't allowed, is anyone going to be there? Is it going to be a waste of time? Is it going to be a waste of money? Is it just the best use of my resources and the best thing to do for Caffeine Kilos? And then I said, you know what? If vendors are allowed and there's going to be 1,000 people lifting, I need to get out there, be there for the lifters. If nothing else, we can have coffee for them. A lot of people look forward to seeing us. And some people tell us at events all the time, like, man, I've wanted to buy your stuff, but, I've been waiting to see it in person. And so I said, I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to make the best of it. And that's what this is all about, is when you take something, you can take something that maybe isn't good or you perceive as not so good and make the best of it. So here's some examples. Coming out here, I said, okay, well, how do I make the best of this thing? So I get a hold of my buddy Daniel Walter, who set up the barbell clinic. Tell him, man, it's on. Get everybody there. Okay, let's see how many people we can get to this barbell clinic. Then my buddy Corey G's got a gym out here, and he was doing an event on Friday morning. He also had an event on Thursday night. It's like, all right, I'm going to both of those things. I'm going to get out and network, meet everybody I can, meet new people, do all this stuff. And then I was like, all right, and then from there, we'll figure it out. So I get to the airport, and when I land in Columbus, I'm waiting for my bag, and I see there's a local news station there. Well, here we go. I am going to do everything I can on this trip to get out there, get in front of people, promote Caffeine and Kilos, because I don't know if we're going to sell anything at this fucking booth. And so in the meantime, I'm going to make sure this trip is worth it. So I just go over there, and anyway, we start talking, and I don't pitch myself. I just go over there. No, but whatever. I'm sitting there. They say, how's it going? Oh, you here for the Arnold? And we start talking, and I tell them about how just kind of the vendor story. Look, we got 2 pallets of products sitting there. It would have been easy. The easy thing to do would be to tell my connection here, to tell the guy who's running our event, hey man, just forward him some paper, tell him to slap the return labels on the side of the pallets and ship them back. But I said, no, I'm not lazy. I'm going to go out there and do it. So I kind of told the news. I said, look, we got 2 pallets full of product just sitting there, and we don't know if there's going to be any spectators or anyone to sell them to, but we're glad to be here for the athletes. And, we're just going to kind of make the best of it. And what we're going to do is, if it's a fucking ghost town on Thursday and nobody buys anything, I'm just going to start contacting local gyms and maybe do some pop-up shops at local gyms. Do something, get out there. And so as we're finishing up the interview for the local news, another lady walks up from another news channel, and it's time to run it back. Another interview, another local news channel. So now I've been in Columbus at this point, off the airplane for 15 minutes, and I've already done interviews wearing Caffeine and Kilos, talking about Caffeine and Kilos. They asked to see products. Luckily, I had a few things that didn't make on the pallet in my personal luggage, so I pull a few things out. And so I was featured on 2 different local news channels within 15 minutes of landing here. Okay. Saw an opportunity and I made the best of it. It would have been easy to either not go or to show up and not run the booth, or to show up and have a pissy attitude and low expectations and then not take advantage of these things. But I've got this vision where I'm saying I'm going to take advantage of everything I can. And I'm going to try and make the most out of this trip. Be hungry. It's like when you're first coming up, every little thing. And you don't want to lose that edge. So then we get out to the venue, set up. After I set up, I go straight to that. I took a red eye, so I barely slept. After that, straight to the gym, run the weightlifting clinic, coach the shit out of these people, give them all $5 gift cards to C&K, thank them for coming out, and then do a little more just kind of networking. I have some friends that are in town for different things. So then, I get some food. I go with one of my buddies, actually with Tim from Two Pood. Shout out Two Pood for Performance. We have a collab belt, weightlifting belt with them. So I go to dinner with Tim and actually end up talking a little business, and he gives me some great tips and some things they're doing. And it was great because we're furthering that relationship, and he gave me some tips we're going to implement at Caffeine and Kilos. So again, I'm going to dinner and I say, well, instead it'd be easy to just go there by myself, sit at the bar, eat my food, not talk to anybody. But nope, text him, hey, you want to meet for dinner? Hell yeah, we go together. Make that. So there's another positive. All right. Then over the course of the weekend, the booth is actually doing okay. We're making some sales. But I'm talking to one of the girls, Melly, who's helping us out here. Shout out Melly and Carly for helping out at the booth. It was the Melly, Carly, and Danny team. You have to go by a child's name if you want to work at the C&K booth this weekend. And so she goes to CrossFit Grandview, which is the biggest gym in Columbus. And she's like, I mentioned the pop-up. She's like, oh, people would love that. So then her and Daniel Walters, those guys, they kind of helped me set this up. And so we go out there, set up a pop-up shop at a local gym on Friday afternoon. Now, Friday afternoon may not sound like the thing you want to do, but you know what? It's all about getting out there. So these girls are so trustworthy and great, helping out, great employees, that I was able to trust them totally. So one person stayed at the booth at the weightlifting meet. The other person and myself went to CrossFit Grandview, ran a pop-up booth there. And then I did the CrossFit class, kind of show people that I am all about it, right? That we do live this lifestyle. And then talking about Saturday being busy. So we leave the stuff there. She goes back the next morning, runs a pop-up shop in the morning at that gym, while me and the other person run the shop at the Arnold in the weightlifting room. So all this is going down. In the meantime, every meal I've eaten so far, I've gone with somebody from another company, right? So I'm going to lunch with somebody from another company from LRX, Ryan from LRX. They're up and coming brand here from Columbus, doing big things. We're talking about the things they're doing. I'm giving them some little tips, things that's worked for us. He's telling me things that worked from him. You can learn from everybody. So I'm just trying to talk to everyone I can, learn things. And that's the point. Now, this has been a lot of me talking about different shit I'm doing in Columbus, and you may not care, right? Like, okay, yeah, I get it. You go there, you're like eating dinner with people, you're eating lunch with people, you're doing pop-ups, what the fuck ever, all right? Here's the point, is there are times when things are not looking good and you got a choice, and you can take the easy way out, the lazy way out, or you can fucking get after it and figure it out. So what do you want? The lazy way out? No, you got to figure it out. Don't take the lazy way out, figure it out. Okay? Probably going to tweet that after this. Follow me on Twitter at Danny Lear. So that's the whole thing there, is you just make it happen. Make it happen, Captain. So we in a situation where it would be easy to either just not go, or there are other people here that had brands, that had booths that didn't do anything with it. In fact, there is at least one company I know of, I'm not going to say names, they were going to have a booth in the weightlifting area or in some area like that with the sporting, they're still allowed to, and a booth in the expo, and all the expo booths were not allowed. So they could have gone in there and got to their stuff and taken some of it and worked another booth, but that's too much hassle. So they didn't do it. They didn't do it at all. Okay. And that's their decision. And he's a friend of mine. So if you're listening, don't take this the wrong way, but that's the situation. You're out here. You already flew out here. You're staying out here in a hotel, and then you're not going to do it. Now that's the lazy way out. Don't take the lazy way out. Figure it out. Get in there, get your stuff, set up a booth, see how can you polish that turd, take the old lemons and lemonade thing, get it going, just got to figure something out. But what I will not do, what I refuse to do, and what you should refuse to do, is I will not just fucking lay down and feel sorry for myself. Okay. Boo-hoo, there's no expo. Who the fuck cares? Okay. We're here for the athletes, for the weightlifters. There are gyms here. You do pop-up shops in local gyms. You stay there for the lifters. You drive. If people can't come to us, no problem. We'll go to them. People can't come to us at the Arnold. Well, you know what? We'll run a sale online this weekend. Caffeine and Kilos, we don't do sales very often. A couple times a year we run a sale. And when we do, they're normally not big percentages. But you know what? A lot of people were excited about coming out to see us here in Columbus, and they couldn't. And that's kind of fucked. So we run a sale online for one day, 24 hours only, run a sale. You couldn't come and see us in Columbus. So here you go. Here's a pretty fat, chunky discount off our online store, which we don't do often. That way you can still get something from us. You don't have to worry about shipping. And it's kind of our way of saying, like, you couldn't come to us, so here's something for you. And so you start adding these things up. By the time you take into account the sale, the pop-up shops, still setting up and selling to the weightlifters, you take into account that when I rebooked my hotel, a buddy hooked me up with a pretty good rate, but also that even if you wouldn't have, it still would have been cheaper than originally because there's so many empty rooms, people are trying to give them away. Okay. If I take into effect all these things, okay, going out to Old School Gym with Corey G and early in the morning at 4 a.m., building that relationship, going to meet up in the evening at Ruth Chris that he was hosting, building those relationships, going to lunch with people, building those relationships. All right. You start adding all these things up, going out to dinner with old friends, found a speakeasy in town, went there with some guys who we used to do some business with and stuff. You start adding all this stuff up, and you know what? By the time it's all said and done, coaching the clinic, by the time it's all said and done, shit, I bet on the end of this weekend, it's actually going to be more profitable than it was last year. Okay. That's how you polish a fucking turd. That's how you do it. All right. And it's not about me and the things that I've done. This is about you and the things that you could do. All right. If you would just figure it out. Okay. Don't take the easy way out. Figure it out. You can do it. You don't know the answers? Whatever. Try something. That's the goal. Try a few things. The things that don't work, don't do them. The things that do work, do more of them. I end up running, another one, I run into Mike Bledsoe. Haven't seen him it's been a couple of years, right? Talked to him for a while. It was great, So next time in life, something comes up and we'll say, less than ideal. And it's real tempting just to sit there, hang your head, and feel real fucking sorry for yourself. But you know what? That's not going to do anything. All that's going to do is teach you to be weak. So don't take the lazy way out. Figure it out. There you go. There's your solo show. Let me know what you think. If you liked it, shoot me an email, podcast@caffeine.com. Leave me a 5-star review on iTunes. And this has been Gas Station Cappuccino.